Welcome guys to another medieval battle with Midnight Games Online. We are playing Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD, the free mod for Total War Attila. And today we have a special battle for you guys. It is a 5-star battle, which is the highest rating our replays can achieve. And it is a historical battle. This is the Mongol invasion of Lithuania. So if you want to fast forward to the action itself, just click the timestamp in the description below and you'll be taken right to the action. Otherwise, if you want to look at what these armies are made of, we are going to go through the army compositions right now. And here we see my general. This is Talabuga Khan, a Mongol prince and future Khan of the Golden Horde, who was one of the generals in this Mongol invasion of Lithuania historically. And we can see him right here with his general's bodyguard. And behind Talabuga, we do have the Batars. These are the elite Mongol warriors, and we can see them up close here, Batar. And over here, we do have some lancers. Again, the Mongol invasion of Lithuania took place in 1258 to 1259. So these are and this is an early era battle only. It's a 2 versus 2 land battle, all early era. These are the Lancers. These are the no-core heavy Lancers. So they are heavy shock cavalry for the Mongols. They're just about as good as the Batar in terms of the charge and fighting. But the Batar have the extra ability of using a bow and arrow, so they're a little more expensive because you can kind of use their missiles first. And then when they're done with their missiles, they're pretty much equal to these no-cores. Maybe not exactly equal, but pretty close. So that's the Mongol Cav. Now, we did have a little bit different rules for each side here. We had 6 shock Cavs, shock or hybrid Cav per Mongol player. And this is large armies, guys. And then 6 missile Cav. But the Mongols were not allowed to bring any shock infantry or heavy melee infantry, and the Lithuanians could bring 2 shock infantry, and they could bring 2 heavy melee infantry as well. The downside for the Lithuanians was that they, as a result, let's see here, I think it was 6 shock cav for the Mongols, and it looks like 4 for the Lithuanians each, and 4 missile cav for the Lithuanians. But the Mongols, with no ability to bring any shock infantry or heavy melee infantry, and their own infantry actually being, the siege levies, they're only medium spears, whereas the Lithuanians do have heavy spears. That's just part of the roster, the fact that the Lithuanian roster is better. There was just no rule about that. Better in the early era, I should say, for the infantry. So anyway, we had seen the Khan for my army, and we had seen the 3 Batar units. We had seen the 3 no-core units. These are all very good units on the charge. But again, these Batar are heavy hybrid shock, so they can sort of have some missiles as well. On top of that, the missile cav here, these are the Mongol horse archers. These are just light missile cav, as we can see them here. Light bow cav. And I do have 6 units of those. And then I did bring some infantry. So there was 5 foot missiles per team. So I tried to bring the max here. These are the mercenary Khanty-Mansi archers, one of the many Asiatic peoples that the Mongols conquered on their way to Europe. Certainly would have had some of these in the army, since they did take troops from most of their kingdoms and move them forward, especially the kingdoms kingdoms and principalities, etc., in Asia. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 mercenary Khanty-Mansi archers, and my 5th foot missile unit is a fire lance infantry. So this is a Mongol innovation in Europe. First to bring some gunpowder. Again, these are very much rudimentary handguns, but they do have these and only have 3 shots per handgunner, or fire lancer, I should say. They're really not handguns, even though it says handgun infantry. They're the only handgun infantry that's early era or 13th century. They only have 3 shots per person, very limited range, but they can cause some heavy morale deficit and some casualties to early units if they're used well. And again, they have these very cool like little glaives at the end of their fire lances, so they can actually fight pretty well in hand-to-hand when they're done using their ammo. They do have 45 armor as well with the Mongol armor. So very cool fire lance infantry unit here for the infantry. And then we have siege levies. These are the Mongol spears. Siege levy spearmen. We do see them here. And for the siege levies, I have brought 5 of them. And to try to match them up with Lithuanian infantry, I did give them an experience point each. Most of my experience points went to the Lancers, the Batar, and Talabuga Khan's unit here. At the time, of course, he was not the Khan. He was one of the generals in this battle, and the other general was actually in charge. He would never become a Khan himself. This general, Borolday, he was the overall commander of the Lithuanian invasion. And Borolday was not related to Genghis Khan, so he could never become the Khan of the Golden Horde. But he was one of the most famous Mongol generals of the entire century. So here we see Borolday's unit. Actually, we were in a Batar unit. Yeah, here's Borolday's unit. And there we can see Borolday. So very, very cool to have him on the field. He would have been older, more experienced than Talabuga here. But Talabuga having the chevrons in this battle, Borolday not. And he brings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Batars. So for him, he just loaded up on the Batars, paid the extra money for the missiles. I only loaded up on half of them, and then half of them were Nakors for me. And then he does have Mongol horse archers, 3 here, 3 here. So we've seen these already. And for the infantry, he brings the Ruthenian spearmen. So the Rus already part of the Mongol Empire, of the Golden Horde Mongol Empire at this time, and supplying auxiliary troops. So here we go, Ruthenian spearmen. Basically Russians living in the Golden Horde Empire underneath Mongol rule. And then here we have 4 Turkish archers. These are his missiles. Again, going with the more expensive archers, I went with the Khanty-Mansi ones, which are cheaper. These are slightly better archers. But now he's only got 4 of them, and I had enough money left over to get a nice little fire lance unit. But 2 different builds. So my army in the yellow, as one of the 2 Mongol armies in this Mongol invasion of Lithuania. And my ally here is M. Dona Levi, and he was controlling here the second half of the Mongol army, and including Borolday as his general. Now the Lithuanians it's going to be hard to differentiate the 2. It's Mr. Ippo and the captain. Those are the 2 players, but I won't be able to see right away which player brought which units belong to which player exactly. So looking through here, we do have 2 Dukes of Lithuania on the field, or 2 generals. Here we have, we'll call him the Grand Duke because he has extra chevrons here. So his men he's got the best men, Lithuanian nobles sort of guarding him. And we see him here, Grand Duke of Lithuania. Nice straight edge sword. He's got the really cool lamellar armor and some chainmail mixed in as well. Open face helm with the nasal guard. So that is the Grand Duke of Lithuania. And then here in his army, he does have the cav. It sort of seems all mixed in because there's only 2 units over here, and there's 5 units of shock cavalry over here. This is the noble cavalry, again with some gold chevrons. And he's got 2 units of those. And again, I'm not sure if this is one or both of their armies. And more noble cavalry here is probably the other player. and more noble cavalry here. So that's 3 more units of those, and they do have 3 ammunition, the noble cav. So it says they're heavy shot cav, but they do have missiles. And there is a unit of these Bogatiri medium shot cavalry here, but they do have triple gold chevrons. I don't know if there's a purpose of putting so many chevrons or experience points on a medium shot cavalry unit. It'll never be as strong as the heavy shock Batar, for example, but there they are. Here we see the second general. Let's take a quick look at his unit. And actually, yeah, this fits because he looks much younger there. Or I'm not sure if that's the general. Actually, they all have the sword here. So, yeah, heavy command units. So Grand Duke over there, another Lithuanian general over here, more noble cavalry here, and yet more noble cavalry here. So they do put a lot of experience points on their cavalry, which is smart, and they do bring, it looks like, 7 shock cavalry between the 2 of them, without counting any generals. I see 3, 5, 7. So somebody actually left a cavalry off. They could have brought another one, but they chose not to because they wanted to invest in either missile cav, infantry, or what have you. And as we can see, just all these chevrons. I mean, you could have easily, with all these experience points, you could have easily purchased 1 more cavalry unit. You know, without triple golding your medium shock cav, for example, and putting all these silver chevrons on your missiles. So anyway, those are their cavalries. Now let's look at, and they were down some in the cavalry department. Let's look at their missile cavalry, mercenary Cumans, and again, triple gold chevron on your light bow cav. I don't know if that's, I mean, you know, you're going to be outnumbered in the missile war, so maybe you want them to have some extra, you know, morale, and that is valid. And then maybe you want them fighting in hand-to-hand when they're done using their arrows. These ones only with double silver chevron, so that's a bit more reasonable, I think, adding experience points, and actually most of them here with the double silver chevron. So lots of mercenary Cuman horse archers. These are actually very good early missile units, and they've been given extra experience points. So that's their cavalry and their generals. So the Golden Horde will outnumber them in that department. But let's look at where Lithuania has the advantage, and that's in the infantry. Not only do they have the better spears just as part of their better roster, but in this battle, they were allowed to bring shock infantry and heavy melee infantry, whereas the Mongols were not allowed. So let's look at the heavy melee infantry. These are the Lithuanian noble swordsmen. Very cool looking unit. Some of them with just actual scale mail, which was sort of probably being phased out around this time. Very cool. Some of them with the scale mail variant known as the lamellar mail. And that was very much still in use, especially in the eastern regions. So very cool to see both of these types of armor here on the field. And the noble swordsmen, heavy melee infantry, and again they have ammunition. They have 3 ammunition, so that's probably some javelins or pili they have that they could throw. So we see 2 of them here, and the other player has also brought them. Noble swords, heavy melee infantry. And yes, and we can see that they do have, I mean, if you look at this warrior here on the edge where it's easier to see, he's got his fairly large shield, he's got his straight edge, single-handed sword, and then he does have this javelin that he's pretty much holding in his shield arm that he can just kind of grab and toss, and they all do have that. So that's going to be their ammo. Let's see if they can use it. So 2 noble swords here, as well as the other 2, and then the shock infantry, which again, another advantage here in the roster for Lithuania that they were allowed to bring. These are the heavy, the Duckle heavy axemen. So very, very elite unit as far as early shock. Much better than most of the early shock of Eastern Europe are the Lithuanian Duckle heavy axemen. Again, they don't have anything much to protect them from missiles. The shields are kind of on their backs because they need two hands to use their axe. And here we see their captain here. So this player has used the max of the shock infantry. That's the 2 units here. And the other player as well, bringing the Duckle Heavy Axemen. So that's Lithuania's advantage. If they can use it in this battle, which is heavy shock infantry and heavy melee infantry. Now let's move on to the spears. There was no rules about the spears, but so you can bring as many as you want. As we can see, the Mongols only can bring, their best spears are the siege levies, medium spear infantry, and even the Ruthenian spears. These are light spear infantry. So that's the best they have on their roster, whereas, the siege levies, whereas the Lithuanians do have heavy spear infantry. So wasn't specifically part of the rules, but it is just an advantage of the early era Lithuanian roster. And spears are going to come in fantastic utility against cavalry. So if you can use your spears well, you will beat cavalry. But you have to use them well. You can't get charged in the back and things like that. So the Duckle Heavy spears, very large shield. They can kind of just hide and absorb arrows. Good armor. They have 45 armor here without any upgrades. So just very, very, tough unit to break through. And so we do see a lot of these, and they're forming a cohesive kind of front line. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, geez, I lost count. 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. 21 of and they're all the same heavy spear unit. So very good choice on the spears by the Lithuanians. Their missiles, we see Ruthenian archers here. 1, 2, 3, 4 for this player. And then this player over here, actually that's it, 4. And this player over here kind of maxing out on the missiles, taking all 5. He's got mercenary Bohemian crossbows, some extra chevs. These are medium crossbow infantry. Note that this is after the update, so these are very useful in land battles now because they can arc their shots better, almost like a bow. So they can shoot over their own, front line and into the enemy. So you got 3 here, and then you do have 2 more Ruthenian archers over here. Again with some extra chevrons. So I do believe that will cover the army compositions, guys, and we will get right into the battle now. So let's enjoy this Mongol invasion of Lithuania. Here we have the Batars of Talabuga Khan ready for action. So let's start the battle here, guys.
I guarantee those who fight and live to tell the tale today shall be heroes to our people. We take our tribe's honor onto the field with us today. I want to see true warriors out there.
All right, and perfect timing, guys. After the general's speech, Talabuga Khan here ordering the men forward in this Mongol invasion of Lithuania historical battle. Here we go, guys, and we do see the Mongol horse archers have been unleashed. So let's take a quick look at the Mongol horse archers moving forward. And now they have stopped moving forward and they're moving back. So just a little bit of rearranging the formations here, tightening up, because we do see the Lithuanians already sending up their own missile cap. So the Lithuanian missile cavalry is being moved up. And it looks like my horse archers were moved up here and they have quickly retreated because my allies' horse archers are not supporting me quite yet. So Donalavi is over on the flank. And I did not want to be isolated. So I've moved my missile cavalry back here to line up with my allies' missiles. And sort of with the intent of, hey, you want to have a missile war 2-on-1? Well, come over here and do it beside our infantry. And now we do see Donalavi sending up his missile cavalry as well, and his Batars. All of his cav having missile capability. I do have 3 Batars, but also 3 Nokor Lancers, which don't have missiles. and are more or less roughly as good in the charge as the Batars. Both being heavy shock cavalry. The Batars, heavy hybrid cavalry, technically. Heavy hybrid shock cavalry. There you go. The Batars, and of course heavy shock cavalry. Right. So anyway, we're moving up here, and we are dangerously close to the opponents here, and so the missile war has begun. And there we see just a vast flurry of arrows, and the first bodies to fall here. This mercenary Cuman unit losing men. And more missiles being loosed here. And it looks like we've managed to kill quite a few of these. 24 of these mercenary Cumans have been shot and killed by Mongol arrow fire. And but with some of the Batars, this is key, is trying to use the missiles on your Batars before you charge them in. This unit already with 5 kills for me, so I'm quite happy with that. Now, Donalavi pressing up here on the side against the Lithuanians. And Mr. Rippo and the captain are trying to shore up this side, but Donalavi here with his Batars firing away.
Our ally is attacked. Should we aid them?
Firing away and trying to use his missiles as well. And already trying to circle the Lithuanians. The Lithuanians keeping their infantry line held, but one of the two generals here is rearranging the infantry line while the other is seemingly trying to press up. So this one has angled himself to face the Mongol threat here. Lithuanian missiles just outnumbered against the Mongols. And they have taken some casualties. And even the noble cav here have lost 7 men to missile fire. Mostly, though, it's the bow cav that are losing men because they are lighter. And it looks like the Mongols are trying to get a shot off here with the Batar. And now Talabuga Khan involved. And his unit firing, we see them here on the bottom left of the screen. And only a couple of arrows fired there. But already 1 kill for the Khan of the Golden Horde. And he has a heavy command unit, again, very good on the charge. But trying to use some of his missiles, just like I'm trying to use some of the Batar's missiles before we get too involved in the hand-to-hand. And now, heavy casualties here. This Mongol horse archer unit losing 25 men. 26 now. But they are also dealing damage. Lithuanians are moving up their noble cavalry trying to press, and it looks like this line is much more coordinated now. We have a well-angled spear wall here, another spear wall here, a little bit of a gap here. Some noble swords are in the middle here, the heavy melee infantry. But it's tough to be the Lithuanians and be this outmaneuvered. And it looks like I am going for a little charge with my horse archers, the light horse archers that charged in here into these Bohemian crossbows, which are out of position. They were trying to get a shot off. He's trying to rush spears in, but it looks like I'm going to try to envelop this unit. Just before the spears can get in, we are charging them in the back. Some arrow fire now into this mess of units. But that unit is going to break, and the spears are not going to try to get further out of position by sending more spear units out. He's just given up on the unit smartly and raining down some missiles with his archer unit here. They did score 1 kill. The 3 kills already here on my horse archers, but I'll take that any day to get rid of a Bohemian crossbow unit with extra experience points added. So that is one little mistake here by the Bohemians, having one of their crossbows too far out in front of the infantry. It tried to retreat, but it's taken off the field now, and most of the men are dead. Now this Lithuanian player here, it looks like he's going to try to take the edge of the map, so he cannot be flanked on this side. and reorganizing his infantry to kind of reflect that. So we'll see if the other player adjusts to him, or if they'll kind of play more each player independently controlling his army. Meanwhile, Donalavi here with some excellent missile work, wiping out almost entirely these 2 units. He's lost a unit as well. The Mongols using their strength, which is the missile cavalry, in this battle. The Lithuanians have not yet been able to use their superior infantry, their shock infantry, and their heavy melee infantry advantage. And now, almost on cue here, the Lithuanians are pressing up because they want to use this infantry. They want to try to smash our infantry. So this player that was hugging the map is now pushing forward with what he has, while the other player tries to contain the Mongol cavalry. And the shock, so my missiles here firing away, scoring a couple of kills. Spear units here taking fire. They're in position. The handgunners, well, they couldn't quite get the shot off. And as a result, they've been charged by axes. And we are going to throw in some siege levies against those axes, which will hopefully free up the handgunners to be pulled out. My missiles are falling back behind the infantry here. As another shock unit, the double heavy axes charge, the normal spears to the side. Nice charge here. But that allows me to pull these fire lancers out. And now, maybe try to get a shot off. Yes. Great shot here by the Fire Lance infantry. And now a charge. And a very nice charge by the Nokor. The Nokor heavy lancers with a great charge. But shock cavalry from Lithuania charging into archers. And the Lithuanian cavalry here, the nobles, destroying an archer unit. We do have spears fighting them.
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing.
But the Nokors have wiped these units out. Now, this Fire Lancer infantry, only 3 kills on that volley. But they're trying to run to avoid shock cavalry and shock infantry. And this noble cav unit looks like it wants to hit more archers.
Enemy units have rallied and returned.
And a fantastic charge here, hitting spears on the move and ramming into archers here. A very good charge. Missile units breaking now.
Our general is being attacked. Keep him alive.
And over here we do have Talabuga Khan. He is under fire. And some big charges by the Mongols on this side. Giant cav battle here, involving Borolday. And here goes Talabuga Khan, charging in against a spear unit that was chasing more cavalry and just ramming into these heavy spears, while the Batar have run into the archers.
Running for their lives.
Very good work here. Talabuga Khan has completely broken this unit of duffel heavy spears, and he sees another spear unit here that's tied up in the fighting, and he is going to go for the rear charge. And just an excellent charge here into the rear by the general, and that is going to crush this double heavy spear unit here. So just the Mongol cavalry just massacring the infantry of Lithuania here for the one Lithuanian player, whereas the other one has pushed up into our infantry, the Mongol infantry. And now we do have these, oh, what a kill here by the Lithuanian nobles. The Lithuanian nobles of the general's bodyguard here, the Grand Duke of Lithuania, surrounded here by the heavy Nokors. He's going to try to pull out, and that is usually not a good move as I chase him down. And a charge here against him as he's been caught.
The men have broken and
He has 21 kills and got off a nice little charge here, but it's not going to be enough. Enjoying cinematic view, guys. As the Lithuanian noble cavalry here of the general's bodyguard probably fought their last.
The general is dead.
And there he goes. Yeah, the general is dead. He is down. The Mongols have killed the general of the Lithuanians here. And looks like another charge happening here with the Batar. Crashing into what's left of the infantry. Talabuga Khan here surrounded by spearmen, hacking away. Khan kind of dangerous to have him in combat with spears, but he does have a good amount of support here, and the spears are starting to break.
From the enemy.
As we enjoy cinematic view here. 175 kills for the Khan, or the future Khan, Talabuga. In the meanwhile, we have this line of infantry fighting here on the left. The noble swords are taking on the Mongol spearmen. As we go up and down the line here, on the left we have the Lithuanian noble swords. On the right we do have the Mongol spears. Cinematic view here, guys.
The men are running.
But some charges into the rear now by some Mongol horse archers.
The men are losing faith.
And now we do have the Mongols with a number advantage. Before we were down by more than 1,000 men. Here's Donalavi with the charge. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it'll come here.
The men have thrown down their weapons
Possibly
and are
not.
fleeing.
So now we have the second Lithuanian general over here fighting the other Duke of Lithuania, and he does score a nice kill there. And another Mongol soldier down. So he's fighting here, and what's left of the Lithuanians are trying to rally here. The heavy spears are finally trying to just make some sort of box here,
Our men run from the enemy.
while
This
the
is
rest of the
shameful.
field is clear. So the Mongols now clearing a lot of units here. And over here, Talabuga Khan has, and his Batars have taken out these foot infantry, and also Borolday involved now. He has 95 kills, and he has lost 19 men of the bodyguard. Talabuga with 239 kills. He's only lost 4 men, 240 kills now. He's only lost 4 men of his bodyguard. And those extra chevrons coming in handy here. But now we do have the Lithuanian general, their last remaining general, has dismounted and has entered this safe box for a last stand, guys. What an epic last stand that's going to be. The shock infantry were saying, hey, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down swinging the Lithuanian way. They have just got off a fantastic charge here and are just gutting these Turkish archers of Donalavi. So fantastic charge here. 23 men on the charge killed and 20 men here killed on the charge. But they're going to be just swarmed
A unit is running from the enemy.
the Mongols, and the Batar from the back. Donalavi with the dagger, just crashing into these very brave Lithuanian axes from the back, and that's going to cause this unit to waver. 41 kills, but they're wavering. 36 kills here, but they're wavering. I mean, they were cutting through this infantry, but being hit by shock cavalry from the back, that is just brutal. And now we have the last general of Lithuania here, nobly defending, and an epic charge here from all sides by the Mongols into spears. They're going to fight them directly, head on. And Talabuga Khan also just charging into this madness here as Mongols press against Lithuanian spears from all sides. We do see the brave Lithuanian general in the middle there fighting, and there's already cavalry in the middle here. Enjoying cinematic view, guys. The last stand of the Lithuanians here. The Mongol invasion of Lithuania. And a victory for the Mongols as the Lithuanians break. Thank you guys so much for joining us here for another historical battle with Midnight Games Online. We are going to see if we have any stats for this battle, so let's hope. And yes, we do. We are going to get some stats. So here we go. Let's go through the statistics here. It looks like my general here, Talabuga Khan, 259 kills. That's probably going to be the most of any general. Yes, so we do have the most general kills here for my general unit, Talabuga. And the infantry here, again, the Mongol infantry just being a little weaker. Not the best numbers, considering we won the battle. 46 kills here, 59, and 101, pretty good here. But then these two units wiped out in very poor numbers. This unit, poor numbers as well. The missiles, not good numbers either here. 7, 9, 6, and this unit 53 a little better. The Fire Lancers, we did get to see them use their Fire Lances a little bit in this battle. Only 21 kills, though. This unit is really powerful, and if you use them a little better than I did, you can actually get more kills and less deaths. But it was just fun to use. In terms of the cavalry, so my shock cavalry with very good numbers here, 187, 117, 118. Very good for the Nokors. The Batars as well here, 172, 129, and 143. So some pretty good numbers here on the shock cavalry, and obviously the general. And then we have the missile cav. I would say sort of hot and cold here. I mean, 44 kills for a light horse archer unit is not bad. 74 is actually very good. But obviously we have 6 here. We have 24, 24, so kind of weaker numbers in some of these units. That said, 3 of these units are wiped out, but 3 of them are still fully healthy at the end of the battle, probably still having some arrows left, and even if they don't, you can kind of use them to try to get a charge or 2. So still some potential there left on the field, and I do have a lot of units left alive at the end of the battle, because the Mongols did win in this battle, as they did historically. They did win the Mongol invasion of Lithuania, led by Borolday and Talabuga. Now Donalavi did control Borolday here, the overall commander, 126 kills for him, and just over half his unit still left alive. His spears as well, not the best numbers, but I do like this unit here, 97 kills and 61, not bad. And keep in mind, took light casualties on his spears, so most of them still alive and able to fight at the end of the battle. These Turkish archers he brought, again, they're quite expensive, and again, not the best numbers. He does have better numbers than me on the missiles. But like in general, but still not the best numbers, and losing quite a lot of these. I think especially with the Duckle heavy axeman charge at the end. And then that brings us to his Batars. So he brought only Batars. He did not have any Nokor Cav. These are slightly more expensive than Nokors. I had a mix of 3 and 3, 3 Batars and 3 Nokors. And he had just 6 Batars. So for his Batars, the heavy hybrid shock cavalry, let's see here, 120, 275, very good numbers, 235, down to 93 over here, so not very good for a Batar unit, 145, which is very good, and 142. So overall, excellent numbers for his cavalry. Looks like 2 of his units were wiped out completely. I lost 1 unit completely and took casualties in a few other units. But 2 of the Batar wiped out completely, but 4 of them still alive and well at the end of the battle and able to score more kills if the battle had continued. And then his missile cavalry, I thought he did really well here. Some disappointing units here, like 11, kills over here, 62 kind of lukewarm, but then he's got 201 and 155. I mean, these are just amazing numbers on missile cav. So very good work, Donalavi, and actually both of us, I would say, in this battle, as the Mongols making use of the missile cav, making use of the cavalry, playing to our advantage, and trying to negate the Lithuanian advantage of their superior infantry as best we could. Speaking of Lithuanians, Mr. Ippo here, bringing this very brave Duke who fought in the last stand, surrounded by his men to the end. It looks like though because they broke, he'd had a few men left at the end. 10 kills here in the last stand, very cool. The heavy Duckle Axeman, 44 and 43 kills. Most of these were on the charge, where they scored like over 2 dozen kills each on the charge, from what I remember. And then they were just cutting through the Mongol infantry, but they did get rear charged. So overall, the numbers not impressive, but they put up these numbers within maybe 20 or 30 seconds of combat, which is very impressive. They were just surrounded at that point and charged in the rear by cavalry. His Duckle heavy spears, unfortunately, not very good numbers for most of his units here for him. 3, 3, 0, 1. And then some better numbers here, 52, 24. The noble swords, 40 kills here. These are the heavy melee infantry unit, which Lithuania could bring, and the Golden Horde could not in this battle. 40 kills, and then down to 32 here. And their missiles, quite decent here. The missiles actually better than our numbers here. 34, 34, 41. So he did well with the missiles, considering they lost the battle. And then their cavalry. Now their cavalry was pretty much up against our cavalry, and they lost. So their numbers are not good. 6, 11, 14. Missile cav a little better than their actual cav, which is usually not a good sign. So some decent numbers here, but overall also not a good result with 11 and 17, and then completely wiped out as well. So Mr. Hippo, I mean, he fought well. He gave us an amazing last stand there at the end, but in the end it wasn't enough against the Mongols. The captain here, 22 kills with his Grand Duke, most of them cavalry kills. Again, these, heavy Duckle axemen, or Duckle heavy axemen, were the shock infantry that were supposed to be part of Lithuania's advantages. They were allowed to bring shock infantry, and the Golden Horde was not in this battle. This unit 47 isn't terrible, but they just weren't able to maximize this advantage that they had with their shock, being able to bring shock infantry. The heavy spears here, actually very good numbers on this unit, 114, pretty solid here, 64, 44, but then down again to these units that must have just got wiped out or broken at the end. No, this one was completely wiped out, 3 kills, 8 and 17. He does have a couple units alive at the end, these two, with only light casualties, but they probably were part of the last stand and just broke when charged from all sides by the Mongols. And then the other here, the heavy melee infantry, 37 kills here and a couple men alive, probably retreated off the battlefield. But this unit here down to 12 again, so, not maximizing the advantage that he had with these. What you want to try to do is, when the cavalry is tied up, try to throw these elite infantry into that battle. That's when they're going to score kills. But instead, these two players, one of them decided to sort of advance and attack, while the other, defended and was surrounded by cav, to be fair. So they had a really uphill battle in terms of how well Dona and I worked together in the team tactics. Archers here, 10 kills, 7. One of the crossbows with good kills, 45, but another one with only a kill. This was probably the one that was caught out by my missile cav at the beginning. And then his cavalry here, 40 kills. I like that, considering they lost the game. These two, the lower numbers here with 11 and 1 and 0. And then the missile cav, 44 again, not bad for light horse archers. But the rest, they were all wiped out as well. So, you can only do so much, in this game in a 2-on-2 if you're on the losing side. But overall, hats off to all 4 players in this game for some good skill, for an entertaining battle, and we hope you guys enjoy it. Stay tuned for more battles with Midnight Games Online in the near future.